Hello students and welcome to SmartKidz tutorials. In this video, we'll be going through the mind map of the first chapter in class 10 science, that is about chemical reactions and equations. So this mind map is supposed to help you to quickly revise this chapter just before you go for the exams, and it also gives you like a brief overview of what's in this chapter to study. So let's begin with there are four things that we look into when we begin this chapter. One is what are the reactions that happen chemically. Then we speak about balanced chemical equations. What are balanced chemical equations and why do we need to balance them? Then we'll speak about the types of chemical reactions, and there are five of them. And we speak about the effects of certain or rather applications, or in day-to-day life how we encounter certain reactions, that is rancidity and rust, parts of redox reactions. So first we begin with the reactions. See, when it comes to reactions, we have physical as well as chemical reactions. In terms of physical reaction, the change that we can see is in terms of change in color, the state, whether it's physical state, or when we speak about that, for example, water is liquid that we usually encounter, but when we freeze it, it becomes ice, and when it evaporates, it becomes water vapor. Okay, then temperature, how temperature affects uh, a particular reaction, that all this is covered in this part. In a reaction, when we speak, what is a reaction? So in a reaction, there are always reactants and products. Reactants react to give you products. For example, over here we see magnesium and oxygen. These are two elements. These are reacting with each other to give you a product called magnesium oxide, and the chemical reaction is given over here. Now here the reactants are always placed on the left hand side, remember, and the products are placed on the right hand side. So, and the way that the reaction is proceeding is given by this arrow. This arrow is telling in which direction the reaction is proceeding. The reaction that you see down is not complete. It is called as a skeletal equation, because over here we do not know what is the state of magnesium or oxygen, the physical state. Also, it doesn't seem sometimes it is not, if it is not balanced, that also attributes to skeletal equations. So here, over here, of course it is balanced, because we see there are two atoms of magnesium on the left hand side, two atoms of oxygen on the left hand side, that is on the reactant side, and two of each on the product side as well. So this is the form in which the equation come, and this is the equation. Okay, this is when you write it in words, and this is when you write it in terms of the symbol elements. Okay, coming to the balanced equations. What are balanced equations? So balanced equation, the word itself says that the equation is balanced on either side, or that means on the reactant side as well as on the product side. It follows the laws of conservation of mass, and according to the law of conservation of mass, the amount of mass on the reactant side remains the same as that of the product side, and nothing gets wasted or destroyed. Okay, so if there are x number of atoms on the reactant side, there has to be x number of atoms on the product size as well. Okay, so the number of atoms remain the same. Okay, reactants and products are balanced. Physical state of elements are written as gas, I mean G for gas, L for liquid, and S for solid. Also you will find sometimes they will also write in brackets AQ, that means it's in the aqueous state. Okay, so this is what contributes the balanced equation. So first we speak about the physical changes in a reaction, and we speak about color, state, and temperature. Then we speak about the way reactions or equations are written. Okay, where you have reactants on the left hand side and products on the right hand side with this equation. And this complete equation involves balancing the equations as well as giving their physical states, in which state, whether it is gas, liquid, or solid, or even aqueous state. Sometimes there is heat has to be applied, so over this arrow you will it will be mentioned whether light is supplied, heat is supplied. Okay, and sometimes you will have some other things also mentioned out here. So this is about the first part. Whenever a chemical reaction proceeds, sometimes you will have heat that is being required to accelerate the reaction or for the reaction to proceed. Some certain reactions do not proceed without application of heat. In that case, energy is absorbed in the form of heat. And that is this type of a reaction or process is called an endothermic process or reaction, where heat is absorbed or energy is absorbed. Endo means inside, thermic means referring to the heat. Okay, so endo means inside, taking heat inside. And in certain cases, energy is released when two reactants combine to give you a product. In the bargain, there is energy release, that is, heat is released. In such a case, this type of process or reaction is referred to as an exothermic. Exo means outside, and thermic means heat. So, giving heat outside. Okay, so there are endothermic processes, exothermic processes that take place. These are referred to as thermochemical changes that may happen during the course of a reaction. Okay, coming to the type of reaction, chemical reactions. So we have five type of chemical reactions that we study in class 10 for this first chapter. First one is a combination reaction. So I'll just go through the types of reactions first. Combination, decomposition, displacement, then you have double displacement, and you have redox reaction. So in case of the combination reaction, the word combination itself tells you that something is combining. So you can't have just one reactant. You need to have two reactants to combine. Two people combine. Okay, so the word combine can only be used if there are two or more people involved. So over here, in this case, we are talking about two reactants. The two reactants will react to give you only one product. So this is the one way of identifying a combination reaction, wherein two reactants will combine to give you only one product. Then we come to decomposition. Decomposition is the exact opposite of combination, wherein you have one reactant and that reactant can split into two or more products. Okay, that is called decomposition. Decomposition is like disintegration. Okay, one thing is split into more than two or more, like that. Then we come, and in decomposition, you may have certain other categories as well. Third one is displacement. The word displacement only tells you that something is being displaced or moved from its actual site or place. Okay, so in this case, the more active metal is known to displace the less active metal from its salt solution. Okay, so it's just that one strong metal is coming in order to remove the other metal which is in combination with an with its partner, and it displaces it from that. So this active metal will take over this less active metal's partner. That is what it means in plain words for you to understand. So more active metal displaces the less active metal from its salt solution. Next, we come to a double displacement. In this double displacement, two reactants exchange ions to form two new compounds. Basically, what happens, there is an exchange of partners. We have the positive ions which get exchanged. So they exchange the partners. Okay, so positive ions get replaced of each other, as in the positive it gets exchanged with the positive ion of the other compound. So two reactants exchange ions to form two new compounds. That is the double displacement. So double here you spoke about displacement where there was only one metal being displaced. Over here, two of them get displaced, so that's why it's called double displacement. Then we come to the last part, that is redox, and this is probably the most important reaction in this entire chapter. Redox actually refers to reduction and oxidation. So what is oxidation? Oxidation is when oxygen is gained during a reaction, okay, atoms of oxygen are gained during the reaction, or if atoms of hydrogen are lost, that is when we call it as an oxidation. In case of reduction, oxygen is either lost or hydrogen is gained. So this is reduction. If you only remember what is oxidation, reduction is the exact opposite of oxidation. So you just need to remember what is oxidation. Oxidation, so the word oxy itself tells you that there is oxygen being gained in that reaction. So oxygen gained, that means hydrogen has to be lost. Okay, both don't take place in the same reaction. Here, in some cases, there is no oxygen at all involved, but there is hydrogen. That's when we look whether hydrogen is being lost or gained. If hydrogen is lost, then we call that particular reaction or equation as being oxidation. But if oxygen is lost and hydrogen is gained, then we call such a type of reaction as a reduction reaction. Now, speaking about redox reactions, on in our day-to-day life also redox reactions are seen to happen, and it contributes to something called as corrosion, okay, which involves the action of moisture present in the air and also about air. The combining with these two combine to react on the surface of the metal, thereby causing certain changes, rendering the metal useless. So what we are more aware of is about rusting. You see rusting happening, especially during the monsoon season, okay, where you have this red material forming, and this is basically because of the hydrated iron oxides. It weakens the structure of the body, so we don't like rusting. So to prevent rusting, we usually tend to apply paint or something to prevent the contact of air with the metal, thereby preventing rusting. There's another application that we know that we come across in this chapter about when it comes to oxidation, that is rancidity. That foul smelling smell you may get from the food if it goes stale or if it's kept outside. Okay, that's because the fats and oils get slowly oxidized. That's when we get the foul smell, the food spoils. This is called as a rancidity. So we have measures to prevent rancidity. That is, we can add preservatives, or we can keep it in the fridge, store it in an airtight container. These are certain things that we do to prevent rancidity. So, in a nutshell, this is what we cover in this chapter of chemical reactions and equations. More importantly, you should know how to balance the equations and understand the fact that balancing follows the law of conservation of mass, wherein the number of atoms remain the same on the reactant size as well as the product size. Reactions can be endothermic or exothermic depending on whether the heat is absorbed or given out. 5 types of reactions that we come across that we need to identify based on the chemical reactions. We have combination, where there is combination giving two reactants combined to give one product. Decomposition, where one reactant decomposes into two or more products. Then you have displacement, wherein an active metal displaces a less active metal from its salt solution. And a double displacement method, where two reactants they just exchange partners, okay. And finally, to redox reaction, where we classify a reaction as oxidation or reduction based on whether oxygen is gained or lost, or whether hydrogen is lost or gained. Okay, so this is what you need to cover. It's a short chapter and not many marks, but if you want to quickly revise and kind of mentally prepare a map of what exactly comes in this chapter, so I advise you to go through this mind map. And if you find this useful, do not forget to hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Share this video with as many friends and classmates as possible, so they can also benefit like you have. And keep watching for more such videos. Thank you. Keep watching.